Welcome back to Mass Appeal. Millions of cameras were bought and sold over the holidays, but if you don't know how to use them, you are out in the cold. Chris Marion's a photographer, and he's here to help take our photography to the next level. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Seth, thank you.
And it's not even cameras either these days. We have things like iPads and the iPhones, and even those have pretty nice cameras in them these days.
Yeah, my first point-and-shoot camera, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago was a 2-megapixel camera. My iPhone 5 has over 8 megapixels.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
So when you get to the really nice, those big cameras that you see, how many megapixels are those? Like, what's the end point where we are right now?
Well, the end point for what we would use probably, definitely in sports, 13, 15, 20 megapixels.
So we're not talking about a huge difference, but no matter if you have your iPod or if you or your iPad or your iPhone, whatever iDevice you're using, if you have that or if you have a real camera, there's a bunch of tips that you need.
Right.
And the first one that you list for us is practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, it's so important, as with anything. If you're not practicing, if you're not picking it up and using it, you're just not gonna really get great results. If you're picking it up once a month, for a birthday party or something, you're probably not going to be that familiar, and you're probably not going to be real happy with your pictures.
It's like any hobby. If you don't put the time into understanding it and knowing it back and forth, you're not really going to enjoy it fully.
Absolutely.
Your second tip, which is funny because a lot of cameras have that digital zoom feature.
Right.
You say, if you have that, turn it off. Don't use that feature.
Yeah.
Now, why is that?
Digital zoom, I kind of call it fake zoom.
Okay.
All right. Camera has optical zoom. This is really for point and shoots. They have optical zoom, which is the real zoom that the lens has, and then they call it IntelliZoom or digital zoom or whatever. Really, it's just kind of guessing and blowing the picture up. You're going to have far better results, especially with today's technology, with the sensor quality and the size. If you turn it off, you're tempted to use your digital zoom when you're shooting maybe sports, like a soccer game or something, and somebody's far away. You're very likely to have better results with optical zoom and just cropping it.
A lot of people think that they're not better than the machine, but in the digital zoom case, we are better than the machine.
I think so.
Your next tip, which it seems like a no-brainer, but it's so important, it's set the image quality to the highest.
A lot of cameras ship with the camera with the setting not at the highest because for a lot of reasons, but mostly probably because they ship with a smaller memory card, so they want more pictures to be able to be stored. Set it higher, you're going to have higher quality photos. Even if you're printing out 4x6 images, they're going to look great. They're going to look much better. And again, if you're not using your digital zoom, which I hope you're not, the quality of your image when you crop it, it's going to be far better.
And it's one of those things, so you can do so much in, in the biz, we call it post-production, but there's so much that you can do after you take a photo.
Absolutely.
But you can't make it a better resolution. You can't make it more clear and
It's
crisp.
like cooking. It's like the quesadillas. You start with the quality ingredients, and from there, the end result's going to be much better.
Exactly. Your next tip, which I love, and unfortunately we're running out of time, but it's to understand your preset settings.
Right. The presets are there for a reason. For entry-level camera, DSLRs and point-and-shoots, there's a portrait mode, which is there to kind of keep your subject sharp and kind of blur the background. There's a sports mode for fast action. Landscape mode tries to keep everything sharp, but get used to those. Play with them.
Chris, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks a lot,
and
Seth.
hopefully we'll all be taking better pictures out there in a little bit.